So we're continuing our discussion now of how the markers are added, and we're looking now at this getData JavaScript function that gets called when you click on a marker on the map. So this method here, Populate Controls from Table, is one of the methods that the Dialog object itself exposes, and we can find that very easily by going to Methods and then just typing in Populate Controls from Table, and we can see that this particular method makes an AJAX callback and takes the primary key of the record that you want to populate. So the airport ID is the primary key of the record, so this is going to do an AJAX callback and then populate the dialog with the data for the primary key that was specified. So let's just cancel out of that now. So here's our AJAX callback, which is going to go now and go and get the data for the selected airport. And then what we would like to do is remove all of the markers. So in other words, we've selected a particular airport, say in California. We'd like to remove all of the 400 or so markers for all of the airports in California and only show the marker that was selected. So you can see that we get a pointer to the map control. As you recall, that's the get control method, passing in the variable that identifies the map. Then we remove all the markers in marker group MG1 because that was the marker group that we assigned to all of our new markers. And then we call another JavaScript function called show single marker, passing in the latitude and the longitude of the marker that we want to call. And you can see here that latitude and longitude are passed into this function getData. So now let's take a look at this show single marker, which ultimately is going to call the add marker method here to add a single marker. So let's look now at how this marker is added. So you can see here is our settings object, and again we're going to basically add this marker in as a member of the group called MG1. But this time we're going to make this marker into a draggable marker by setting this property to true. And then what we're going to do is in the onDragEnd event, and this is the event that is raised when you stop dragging a marker, we're going to call a function called dropMarker and pass into it data. So data gets passed into this function, and then we're going to just pass data through to our dropMarker function. So there's our dropMarker function, and now let's go look at how dropMarker is defined. So you can see here that from the dropMarker we use the lat_long property of this data object, and then that in turn has a method called lat and long to get the latitude and longitude of the position where the marker was dropped. So this data here is the Google Map object that would be documented in the Google Map API, but this is the method of getting the latitude and longitude of the position where the marker is dropped. And then we simply call the Dialog object's setValue method to set the value of the latitude field and the longitude field. So to recap, basically when the user makes a selection from the map, so let's go here, so we choose a state. So now every single one of these markers has an onClick event that calls the getData JavaScript function, passing in the ID of the airport that is associated with this marker. So I'll click on this marker now. That does an AJAX callback to get the data. All of the existing markers are cleared, and then the marker that was selected is placed on the map again, but this time with an onDrag behavior. So you can see there's my onDrag behavior, and then when I drop it, the latitude and longitude is updated. So you can see here that we've created quite a sophisticated mapping application with very little programming involved. Thank you very much for watching.